Welcome, friends. I'm Allison Miller, bringing you this edition of Oxford News This Week. In today's headlines, Parent University bringing safety instruction to Oxford Guardians, landscape developments in and around Addison Township, and record-breaking across Oxford athletics and the state of Michigan. So sit back and stay tuned because you're watching Oxford News This Week. Oxford Community Schools is holding a series of workshops known as Parent University for parents and caregivers of Oxford students to learn more about keeping students safe and supported. The series of videos, presentations, one-page resources, and collaborative opportunities help to educate guardians on various topics of interest and are open to those from any of the Oxford schools, regardless of the workshop's location at Oxford Middle School. Two upcoming September Parent University sessions include Cyber Safety and What is Bullying? The Cyber Safety Workshop is for parents and caregivers of students in grades 5 through 12 and takes place on September 21st at 6:30 p.m. Sergeant Eagles of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office will discuss the most common dangers for kids on the internet, including predators, cyberbullying, and identity theft. The What is Bullying workshop is presented by Anti-Bullying and Restorative Practices Coordinator Bridget Bittner. The presentation covers all grades and begins at 6 p.m. on September 27th. To learn more about Parent University and to register for the workshops, visit the Oxford Community Schools Facebook page. Paving is now underway for the new 5,100-foot safety path near Oxford High School. Workers from Oxford-based BSI Paving Group began laying asphalt on September 5th. Trees and underbrush have already been cleared around the route that stretches along the west side of North Oxford Road and the south side of Ray Road. According to Oxford Township Supervisor Jack Curtis, the project has been moving very quickly and smoothly with the help of several contracted partners. The Township Board awarded the project bid on August 2nd and began paving only a month later. Curtis said the new path is going to help make Oxford Township a safer place for Oxford High School students and staff members, pedestrians, and bicyclists. In the event that the OHS building or grounds are deemed unsafe, the evacuation route will be fully paved and easily traversable. The new path will also give the community another shared use space for recreation, fitness, and transportation needs. For more updates about the path's progress in the coming weeks, visit the Charter Township of Oxford Facebook page. The Michigan State Police is asking for the public's assistance in locating a 25-year-old man who authorities said killed his mother. The homicide suspect is a resident of the city of Inkster in Wayne County. On Tuesday, September 5th, police said a 64-year-old woman was shot to death in a home near the intersection of Glenwood and Central Streets. Witness interviews pointed to the woman's son, Joshua Hill, as the primary suspect, who left the scene after the shooting. Detectives released a description of the suspect, who is said to be 6 feet tall, 170 pounds, and with black hair and brown eyes. Officials are seeking information on the potential location of the suspect, but warn that if he is spotted, to not approach him and to instead call 911. He may be driving a black 2005 Ford Escape with license plates DDG1487 or a 2020 Ford Escape with license plate BXK999. Authorities ask that those with information call 911, the Michigan State Police at 855-MICH-TIP, or Crime Stoppers at 800-SPEAK-UP. Phase 1 of the project to revitalize the park next to the Addison Township Hall is underway following increased interest from area residents. According to Addison Township Supervisor Bruce Pearson, the idea of upgrading the park began after residents asked if they could make donations for pickleball courts. Later, additional feedback on a survey for this year's update of the 5-year Parks and Recreation Master Plan showed increased interest in park improvements. Deputy Supervisor Jamie Martell secured nearly $100,000 from Oakland County's 2023 Senior Center Matching Grant, and the project began. According to Martell, the plan includes 3 pickleball courts, an 8th-mile walking path, and an overall improvement in aesthetics of the park. The vision behind the grant, she said, is to develop Addison Township Park with more senior-accessible and multi-generational activities. Future improvements may include bocce ball courts, horseshoe pits, and a gazebo. With the donated money, the grant, and the matching funds from the township, Deputy Supervisor Jamie Martell began planning with contractors on the last day of August, and construction is slated to begin very soon. Invasive species education and prevention now at a lake near you. Nearly 14,000 boaters across Lakeville Lake through a development of natural access Lakeville Lake through a Department of Natural Resource launch facility during the peak of the season. The flow of water traffic in the Addison Township Lake inspired Lake Association members to apply for a grant to counteract the risk of invasive species. The Michigan Boats Clean Water Program partnered with the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative to grant 2 lake associations up to $3,000. In Lakeville Lake's case, the money is going towards 3 things: signage, a waterless cleaning station, and educational events. Recently, volunteers installed signs that informed boaters about the cleaning station as well as tools to drain water and pull off weeds. According to Lakeville Lake property owner Joanne Zuzelski, the project is a great way to make cleaning easier on the boaters. The 3 main invasive species in the lake are all varieties of vegetation, and Zuzelski says that they are driving out some of the natural habitat for fish and other native species. All types of watercraft, she says, can be carriers, and she hopes the new cleaning station and education events can help others keep their eyes open for invasive species. The final education event takes place on September 24th during a bass fishing tournament. The total number of animals identified with the rabies disease in Oakland County has risen to 4 following an encounter with a bat in a house in Milford. The state of Michigan performs testing on animals suspected of having rabies and was alerted to the bat case on August 22nd. Neighboring Macomb County has had 6 cases of skunks with rabies this year, some of which attacked household pets outdoors. Joni Toole, chief of Oakland County Animal Control, said that pet owners should keep their animals up to date on rabies vaccinations. Toole also stated that pet owners may want to remain by their pet's side while they are outdoors and guard them from wildlife and stray animals. Rabies is most commonly spread through the bite of an infected animal, as it is carried in saliva. Animals with the disease are often euthanized, and rabies in humans is almost always fatal. The Michigan Department of Agricultural and Rural Development advises to seek medical attention for any animal bite, as the rabies virus is not the only concern. The Michigan Animal Rescue League is taking the concept of a party animal to a new level. The Pontiac-based shelter is hosting a cocktail party for dogs and their owners to celebrate the league's 70th anniversary. This year's 14th annual Yappy Hour is the only cocktail party in Metro Detroit where dogs are invited to. According to the Michigan Animal Rescue League, the fundraising event is the nonprofit's largest of the year, and it takes place from 6 to 9 p.m. on Thursday, September 21st at the Gardens at Meadowbrook Hall. Tickets include 2 drinks, a strolling dinner, and unlimited dog treats for canine attendees. The party also features a silent auction with prizes including wine packages, a stay at a horse farm, high-end skincare, and even a trip to Chicago. According to Maggie Humes, Michigan Animal Rescue League's executive director, the funds raised by Yappy Hour are critical in helping the shelter continue to provide life-saving care for the over 150 homeless and at-risk animals it houses on any given day. Humes said that guests can expect Yappy Hour to be a particularly memorable evening as a celebration of unwavering dedication to animal welfare. To learn more about Michigan Animal Rescue League and the Yappy Hour event, or to purchase tickets, visit marl.org/Yappy Hour. In our Behind the Lens segment, we're taking a look at some furry friends on the move. These deer look as if they were posing for the camera. The snapshots were captured on a Sunday evening bike ride along the Polly Ann Trail. Although cool fall temperatures are quickly creeping up on Oxford, there's still time to get out and enjoy nature to the fullest. If you have a special snapshot that you want to have featured on Oxford News this week, let us know. Send an email to manager@occtv.org and give us the details about your photo. In our last story, this world record is for the birds. Up next, Dave Kenny will have Auto Talk and Science in the News. You are watching Oxford News This Week on Oxford Community Television.
Abigail Adams here, just checking up on our springtime goat work on the Polly Ann Trail. What's that? Trash on our beautiful trail? Oh, that makes me so happy. We've got so many trash cans all over the trail. It's a beautiful day on the trail, but oh no, this could end badly. Wow, that sure was nice. Folks know not to hog the road. Even goats share. Hey, that gets my goat. Where are you going? Even I have to be out here on a leash. You sure are a nice dog, but stay away from those weeds. I'm gonna eat them later. What a beautiful gift, our Polly Ann Trail. I've got to hit the trail. I hope you will too.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from Automotive News. The nation's top auto safety regulator on September 5th said it has determined 52 million airbag inflators made by ARC Automotive and Delphi are defective and should be recalled. The agency's initial decision affects about 41 million driver and passenger inflators made by ARC from 2000 through January of 2018, and about 11 million driver inflators made by Autoliv acquired Delphi under a licensing agreement with ARC. The agency will hold a public hearing October 5th at its headquarters regarding the decision and allowing ARC and other parties to present arguments showing there is no defect. If NHTSA makes a final decision that the inflators contain a safety defect, ARC will be required to file notice of the defect with the agency, and automakers will be ordered to carry out recalls. The inflators are installed in vehicles manufactured by 12 automakers, including Ford Motor Company, General Motors, Chrysler parent Stellantis, Hyundai, Tesla, and Toyota. These airbag inflators may rupture when the vehicle's airbag is commanded to deploy, causing metal debris to be forcefully ejected into the passenger compartment of the vehicle. A rupturing airbag inflator poses an unreasonable risk of serious injury or death to vehicle components, NHTSA wrote. ARC did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The latest action comes amid an 8-year-long investigation of rupturing airbag inflators manufactured by ARC, a Knoxville, Tennessee Tier 2 supplier. In a letter made public in May, NHTSA demanded that ARC recall 67 million airbag inflators produced through January of 18 that the agency tentatively concluded are defective. ARC rejected NHTSA's demand. The company stated that it strongly disagrees with the agency's tentative conclusion that a safety defect existed in the driver and passenger inflators. ARC, which in January of 2018 installed instruments to detect excessive slag and other debris in the welding process, said it believes the ruptures resulted from a one-off manufacturing anomalies that were addressed by automakers in subsequent recalls. NHTSA on September 5th pushed back against the claim, stating the agency believes that the ruptures may result from the weld slag produced by the friction welding manufacturing process. Should a weld slag of sufficient size become dislodged, it can cause a blockage of the inflator exit orifice when the airbag deploys, the agency concluded. A blockage of sufficient size will cause an overpressurization and rupture of the inflator, leading to the potential forced propulsion of shrapnel or metal fragments from the inflator into the passenger compartment. Since the launch of the ARC investigation in 2015, automakers including BMW, Ford, and Volkswagen have initiated 8 recalls to address potential safety defects with ARC airbag inflators. More recently, General Motors called back a nearly 1 million 2014 to 17 Buick Enclave, Chevrolet Traverse, and GMC Acadia vehicles with the airbag inflators. At least 9 incidents globally, 7 in the U.S. of ruptured airbag inflators have been identified in NHTSA's still open investigation of ARC. Of those, dating from 2009 to as recently as March, 7 injuries and 2 deaths have been reported. Additional inflator ruptures are expected to occur in the future, NHTSA warned in its decision, risking more serious injuries and deaths. They are not recalled and replaced. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Canine Stray Rescue does just that. Rescue stray dogs for new families. But they need your help. Become a volunteer at Canine Stray Rescue League of Michigan. Take dogs for walks, help them socialize with others, and help them get adopted. Fill out an application and help a family add a new member today.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, no matter where we serve, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Welcome back to Oxford News this week. Once again, I want to thank Allison Miller helping us out. This week's sports report, Oxford High School Wildcat Media Team introduced a new podcast for sports fans across the community. The student-run Oxford High School News Broadcasting Team introduced the beginning installment of a project on the first of the month. The brand new Coach podcast features exclusive interviews with Oxford High School coaches, inspirational stories from student athletes, and discussions about strategies and teamwork that push Wildcat teams to succeed. The first episode of the Coach podcast highlights head coach and varsity football team coach Zach Line. As the school year continues, the Oxford High School student broadcasting team will continue to produce content for the diverse selection of sports on their YouTube page. To find the podcast or view the student reporters' work, visit the OHS News Broadcasting YouTube page or navigate to the Oxford Community Schools Facebook page for more information. Sounds like a good thing. The Oxford girls diving team is breaking school and pool records 2 weeks ago in Oxford. A dual meet against Lake Orion. Oxford diver Tristan Krajkarski, broke the girls' 6-dive school record with a cumulative 274.75. That's over 10 points higher than the previous record. With this score, Krajkarski also set a new Oxford High School pool record earlier in the season at the Mercy Invite at Bloomfield Hills. And Bloomfield Hills' specific pool record was broken by 2 Oxford students. One, again, other than Krajkarski, once again broke the pool record with 6 dives with a score of 250.10. And then her record was broken by Ellie Sider with a score of 261. Both girls earned medals for the event. For then their success, the girls swim and dive team compete against rival Clarkston this upcoming Thursday. We'll have the results next week. 15 teams took over the Flint Golf Club on the 2023 Charger Invitational last month. The Wildcat girls golfer team consisted of 5 varsity ladies who finished the day with a score of 336, taking 3rd place overall behind Cranbrook and Rochester. The only other Oakland Activities Association team competing in the Invitational was Lake Orion, who placed 6th with a 364. Seniors Ellie Geiselman and Kira Billis led the Oxford with 82s and tied with a 9th place overall. Individually, after the tournament, varsity head coach Gretchen Gabler said that the team is not made up of one superstar, but a supportive group that carries each other when the team is struggling and finds a way to step up to the challenge. The Wildcats are currently ranked 7th out of the 64 Division I schools right here in Michigan. I'll be back. Oh, no, actually, I won't. That's my last. I wrap it up with sports. Allison Miller will be back to close it all out. She'll have the last story, and she'll say goodbye. I know Dave Kenny's got another update here. I'll see you next time right here on Oxford News This Week.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Our muscle fibers can become misshapen as we age, but resistance training seems to at least partially restore them, according to a study made in about 200 people. Some past research has reported misshapen muscle fibers in older people, so to investigate, Kasper Schöndenbroe at the Copenhagen University Hospital in Denmark and his colleagues looked back at samples they had taken from people's thigh muscles for previous studies. These came to around 200 people aged between 20 and 97 who were largely physically inactive but were deemed to be healthy and free of major medical problems. The researchers gave the muscle fibers a score between how much their cross-sectional shape deviated from a circle. Healthy muscle fibers deviate slightly because they have a pentagonal or hexagonal shape and score around 1.2. Misshapen fibers may have an elongated or squash shape with extremely askew ones scoring around 1.9. For each sample, the scores of individual fibers were averaged to get an overall measure of misshapenness. In the slow twitch muscle fibers responsible for endurance activities, there was a small and gradual increase in misshapenness with age, the team found. In the fast twitch muscles, responsible for power and movements, such as lifting weights, there was a much bigger increase, rising from 1.4 at age 20 to 1.6 by age 90. The measure of misshapeness correlated with muscle performance as well, or better than muscle size did, measured by the cross-sectional area of muscle fibers, says Schöndenbroe. He and his colleagues then got about 60 of the people to do at least 3 months of heavy resistance training 3 times per week. After a 5-minute cycling warm-up, the participants did between 3 and 5 sets of leg presses, leg extensions, leg curls, and 2 optional upper body exercises with up to 15 repetitions per set. Afterwards, the researchers took further muscle samples and found a decrease in misshapenness in fast twitch fibers in both younger, that's age 20 to 36, and older, age 60 to 80 volunteers in the older group. The average score fell from around 1.5 to 1.45, for instance. The results have been posted to the bioRxiv preprint server, but are not yet peer-reviewed. The finding could help us understand more about the mechanisms through which strength increases, says Stuart Gray at the University of Glasgow in the UK. I think they have shown nicely how the shape index does change with age, she says. But on the role of this in muscle function, I am less convinced, as we cannot establish cause and effect from the study. It's already clear from numerous other studies that doing resistance training can help people maintain muscle strength as they age and has many benefits. The earlier you start, the better. But if you are in your 50s now, it would be a pretty darn good time to start doing something that can preserve muscle function for the remainder of your life, says Scherdenborough. You might live 40 more years, and if the last 20 years are characterized by low muscle function, meaning you are limited in what you can do, that's going to be 20 long years. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and I'm going to go try to find those old barbells.
Canine Stray Rescue is Oxford's own local dog rescue. Each year they take in hundreds of dogs and bring them into suitable homes. A certified nonprofit organization, Canine Dog Rescue strives to give pound dogs a new leash on life. To donate, adopt, or even volunteer, call them at 248-628-0435 or go to their website, dogsaver.org, and click on the Canine Stray Rescue League link.
Hello, this is Lomas Brown, ex-Detroit Lion, and you're watching OCTV. That's Oxford Community TV. Check it out.
Welcome back to Oxford Community Television. I'm Allison Miller. In our last story today, we've got an excellent lead for you all. This world record is for the birds. Peanut, a 21-year-old chicken living in Chelsea, Michigan, is the current world's oldest living chicken. Peanut's age has surpassed double her species' typical life expectancy, and she belongs to Marcy Darwin, a retired librarian and current chicken farmer. Darwin typically collects eggs to sell to her friends, but one egg would end up making headlines over 2 decades later. Peanut had originally not hatched inside her egg and gone cold, but just when Darwin was about to give up and toss the egg, she heard a chirp and realized Peanut was alive inside. Raised in the house until she could survive on her own, Peanut eventually made it to an age where Darwin's friends persuaded her to apply for a Guinness World Record. With special verification through photographs and witness statements, Peanut later became a star, shining brightly on postcards, journalistic interviews, a visit from a state senator, and eventually a children's book published by Darwin herself. The special chirp she heard so many years ago now serves as a lesson to children that it is more than okay to ask for help. As always, thank you to our news gathering sources. This week's news was gathered from the Oxford Community Schools, Charter Township of Oxford, MSP 2nd District, and Oxford Athletics Facebook pages, and the websites the Detroit Free Press, Click on Detroit, the Oxford Leader, the Oakland Press, the Michigan Animal Rescue League, OxfordStrongAthletics.org, and the Detroit News. This week's photo credits go out to Oxford Community Schools, the Charter Township of Oxford, MSP 2nd District, the Oxford Leader, Joanne Zuzelik, Peg McNichol of Media News Group, Michigan Animal Rescue League, Oxford Athletics, and Marcy Darwin. OCTV can be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191 and Channel 99 on AT&T and Uverse. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, and the Roku app as well. If you have a show idea or would like to volunteer at OCTV, give our office a call at 248-628-9658. A very special thank you to producer and director Kyle Snage, videographer Al Campbell, editor Marissa Hruska, programmer Connie Miller, program director Dan Wise, and station manager Terry Stiles. For everyone here at OCTV, I'm Allison Miller, hoping you have a safe week, and I invite you back next time when we take a look at Oxford News This Week.